I'm a 33-year-old woman named Meredith, and this happened right after my divorce. After 6 years of marriage, my husband blindsided me by cleaning out our joint savings and leaving me with barely enough to cover 2 months of rent. I had no time to prepare. The apartment lease was in his name, and he gave me a week to move out. I didn't have the energy to fight. I was emotionally worn out, financially gutted, and ashamed to tell anyone how bad it had gotten. Clarissa, my older sister by 3 years, told me to come stay with her. She lived about an hour outside the city in a quiet neighborhood with her husband Dan and their daughter Lacey, who had just turned 7. Their house was the kind you'd see in real estate ads: polished wood floors, an open kitchen, oversized windows letting in too much sun. It even had a garden swing out back. She gave me the guest room without hesitation. Said she was proud of me for walking away from something toxic. Kept telling people I was strong. For the first few weeks, it felt like maybe I'd finally caught a break. I took the guest room, unpacked my life into a single dresser and half a closet, and tried not to feel like a burden. I worked remotely part-time as a digital copy editor for a publishing company, which covered just enough for groceries and half the utilities. Clarissa never asked me to pitch in, but I did it anyway. I cooked dinner twice a week, helped clean, and picked Lacey up from school every other day. On weekends, I even helped with her homework or watched her so Clarissa and Dan could go out for dinner. We started doing these weekly sister nights, just the two of us. We'd open a bottle of wine, throw on old rom-coms, and stay up until midnight laughing at memories from when we were kids. For the first time in months, I felt stable again. It wasn't perfect, but it felt manageable. Clarissa told me more than once, "You're safe now. That's all that matters." She meant it in that warm, sisterly way, or at least that's how it sounded. I wanted to believe it. I needed to believe someone was on my side. One afternoon, I was scrolling through Instagram while waiting for a file to upload and saw a photo she'd posted from one of our wine nights. The caption reads, "So proud of my sister for starting over after years of therapy and rehab. It's been a journey, but she's finally home." My stomach turned. I stared at the words for what felt like an hour. I'd never been in rehab. I'd never even needed therapy for addiction or anything like that. I didn't even drink more than a glass or two on weekends, and certainly not alone. I showed it to her the same night. She shrugged, told me not to overthink it. "No one takes Instagram seriously," she said, laughing like I was being dramatic. "People like a redemption story. Just let them have it." Then she poured me another glass and changed the subject. I let it go. Not because I believed her, but because I didn't want to lose the only lifeline I had left. From then on, little things started to shift. She'd mentioned the tough years to her friends when I was in the room. Drop comments like, "You've come so far, Mayor," in front of her coworkers at dinner. She told her neighbor I was still adjusting and that I was finally stable after hitting rock bottom. I didn't correct her. I didn't want to make waves. I just started shrinking a little more every time it happened. Then came the favors. At first, it was helping with Lacey more, watching her late into the evenings when both Clarissa and Dan picked up extra shifts. Then Clarissa asked if I could chip in for Lacey's birthday party. Nothing major, just some decorations, snacks, and a cake. I said yes. I always said yes. One evening while cleaning up after dinner, I overheard a phone call Clarissa was on. She was in the kitchen with her AirPods in, and I only caught her half of the conversation, but I heard her say, she wouldn't be here if it weren't for me. I practically rebuilt her. It's like having a second child sometimes. I stood there in the hallway, holding Lacey's backpack in one hand, trying to decide if I'd misheard. A week later, Clarissa hosted a dinner party with some of her friends from the office. She introduced me to someone as her sister who went through the ringer but pulled through, thanks to the right support system. She said it while squeezing my shoulder like I was a pet she rescued. I felt frozen, like I was suddenly playing a role in some fake story. When everyone left, I told her I didn't like how she talked about me to people. She acted confused, asked if I was feeling overly sensitive again, and then she reminded me how lucky I was